This is my ranking of all the American-made Godzilla films. A few prefaces for my list. I'm not having any Japan-made films that America reshot some scenes for and re-edited and made into an American Godzilla movie. I'm not counting those. I should barely count number 5 on my list, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Firstly, because it has one of the worst titles I've ever heard for a movie, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. And also because Godzilla's barely in that movie. He's in about, like, I feel like 6 or 7 minutes of the movie in total. It's pretty much only a Kong movie. That movie was very bad. I thought there was very few redeeming scenes at all to be found in the movie. And the entire thing looked like a blurry, out of focus PlayStation 2 video game. That's one of my biggest problems with the Adam Wingard movies. Everything just looks so digital and so clean and so gross. I'd rather watch any bad movie from the Showa era because at least it's all in camera. They actually build some sets for those movies. They actually put these people in costumes. I'd rather see Godzilla as a dude in a costume, and it'll look ridiculous, but it'll look way better than this blurry, out of focus action. I'd rather watch dudes in costumes running into each other and throwing rocks at each other. Kong and all of it looks digital. I hated that it gave him this like Thanos copycat glove gauntlet thing, and I hated that they made Godzilla pink and look like a Barbie. And just all of this movie, the human characters are the worst parts about these movies, and I just thought this one was barely watchable and will probably be my worst movie of 2024 when it's all said and done. Number 4 on my list is Godzilla vs. Kong, the other American Godzilla film directed by Adam Wingard. I do not like Adam Wingard's Godzilla movies. I thought Godzilla vs. Kong was very bad, and Adam Wingard was obsessed with shooting and making every single scene take place at golden hour sunset. Watch the film back and almost everything is golden hour sunset, or it's in a dark room with like red and blue neon lights going on. Every shot in that movie. And not only does it take place at golden hour sunset, everything is green screen digital, so it looks like a nauseating, blurry, out of focus golden hour sunset. If you played a drinking game for every scene that takes place at golden hour sunset, you took a shot, you would die about halfway through the movie. It's a very bad movie. I hated the human characters in this movie. All of them are just unwatchable. Kyle Chandler puts me to sleep. In this movie and in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, there's so much that just doesn't make any sense. There's one, maybe two decent action fight scenes in this movie. Not much going on in this movie. I hate Adam Wingard's Godzilla movies, and I also really don't like Adam Wingard's 2016 Blair Witch. It's one of the worst movies of all time. Number 3 on this list is the 1998 Godzilla movie. I know this is the most hated Godzilla movie of all time, and me putting it at number 3 over Adam Wingard's movies is crazy. I know everyone hates this movie. This movie stars Matthew Broderick. How do you hate Matthew Broderick? He's a very likable guy. As bad as the movie is, him as your lead already ups it a bit. The fact that they shot at least in the street and not in green screens 24/7 makes me like this movie a bit more than the Adam Wingard movies. It's a bad movie, but watching this movie, you're reminded of 90s cheesy action blockbusters, and that's what this movie feels like. It's not great, but I don't think it's offensively bad. It's just a bad 90s action movie, and Matthew Broderick on screen is decent. It's kind of long and boring. It's 2 hours 20 minutes when it should have been 1 hour and 20 minutes. But it's a bad movie, but it's not horrible. It's not as bad as Adam Wingard movies. It's number 3. Number 2 is Godzilla King of the Monsters, the 2019 film directed by Michael Dougherty, who made Krampus and Trick or Treat. I think this movie is kind of bad. I don't like the human characters in it. I find them just horrible to watch, and so many scenes in this movie are just people staring at screens, talking. They're boringly shot. This movie is just like kind of falls flat with anything with the humans. But in this movie, whenever you have monsters on screen, it's really good. I don't know why so many people complained about the 2014 Godzilla movie and said like that they focused too much on the human characters and didn't have enough Godzilla in there. So in this movie, they decided to have like 5 times as many human characters in this film. I did love, though, Ghidorah in this movie looked incredible. That volcano shot is one of the best shots of any Godzilla movie ever, and I kind of like that movie just for that reason alone. Rodan looked awesome in this movie. Mothra was cool. A lot of the scenes between the monsters were great, even though some of the CGI was so overdone to where it still looked very blurry and digital and out of focus and just kind of too much CGI fucking like poured into your eyeballs. Despite all the terrible human stuff in this movie and just the boring scenes, there is like 5 incredible minutes of giant kaiju action that makes this movie worth it. So it's number 2. Number 1, as the best made American Godzilla film, is the 2014 Gareth Edwards Godzilla. This movie, even though so many people complained that you didn't see enough Godzilla in it, the thing I always think about is watch Steven Spielberg's Jaws. You don't see a lot of the shark in Jaws. They did a very good job at just teasing you with Godzilla in this movie. I thought the way that they had always a human perspective, shooting Godzilla from the ground looking up, showing how massive he is, shooting Godzilla from inside of a train looking out of a window. The entire movie, when we're seeing Godzilla, we're seeing all this from the human's perspective, which makes it so much cooler, makes Godzilla look so much larger and so much scarier. I feel like this movie captured the fear of what this would be like if it actually happened to human beings. Not like in the Adam Wingard movies where Godzilla's just made to look like a tiny little superhero. In these, he looks like a giant fucking scary ass monster that would scare the shit out of you if it came to your city. And I love seeing the news cuts and the news footage and like all this stuff. It made it feel more real world rather than the digital superhero movies they're making nowadays. It followed the premise of Jaws. It's not as good as Jaws, and the human character is just okay, but it had some incredible shots, like when they're diving into the city. It teases you with Godzilla, much like Jaws teases you with the shark, until you get the payoff grand finale. Not like these modern day movies that have to blow their load in the first 5 minutes because they know they don't have much interesting to offer. So they gotta hook you with some crazy action scene to get you to sit in the seat and watch a movie, and then you find out the rest of it's boring. I like the tease, the build up, and then the climactic finale where you really see Godzilla and you see the Mutos and everything. The 2014 Godzilla movie, in my opinion, is the only good American-made Godzilla film. I don't think there's ever been another. Godzilla the King of the Monsters comes close. It's okay. I think it's decent, and then the rest are bad. So to run through my list one more time, at number 5 is Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Number 4 is Godzilla vs. Kong. Number 3 is Godzilla 1998. Number 2 is Godzilla King of the Monsters, and number 1 is 2014's Godzilla. Peace.